This is Whit Hertford. I just wanted to check in and say hi and to remember just a little bit of advice. Don't go out there, okay? Just remember that. The two anecdotes that I have, one from Jurassic, was that there's a scene that was cut out where I'm stepping on the fossil. And Sam Neill, Dr. Grant, yells at me. And so I walk by camera, and Spielberg wanted me to say asshole under my breath, which I was really excited to do because it felt kind of like I got to be naughty, and my stepdad had taken me to set that day. And so, I felt like I was able to kind of misbehave a little bit, which was really fun. I hope you're having a not too bad summer day. It's very, very hot here in LA. But, anyway, all my best, and don't go out there.
In a world where zombies, ghosts, serial killers, and vampires all exist, it's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin, and they are all that stand between you and the films that could end the world. Welcome to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Don't Go Out There Horror Movie Podcast. Just want to thank all of our fans and listeners. Really appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. Before we get into tonight's film review, just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. We hope you enjoy the episode. Y'all wish the old man a happy birthday. We're taking on his birthday review this week. I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Brian. Excited for your review, brother. Brian, happy birthday again. What is your birthday bonus this week?
So for my 42nd birthday pick this year, I went with 1997's... I've seen that interview, man. That cracks me up every time. I went with 1997's Jurassic Park follow-up, The Lost World. I've always really loved this movie. I think we're going to possibly rank them at the end today. But I love the whole franchise. I've said that, -1. But with that said, I think there's only one sequel that is really able to capture that same magic that the first one did, and that's this one to me. Now, how much of that magic is nostalgia? Maybe a lot of it. I don't know. I do know that I have a lot of nostalgia for this one. I'm sure that is 100% because of Spielberg. I have no doubts with that. I've been lucky enough to see every single Jurassic Park / World movie in the theaters since '93. I remember walking around middle school, and there were people walking around reading the Lost World book, or at least acting like they were reading it. There was so much hype behind this one, I recall. And I know there are a lot of deviations from the book by Michael Crichton, like we discussed in World War Z. They pretty much just, I think, did the same thing and bought the rights and wrote their own story. But I'm a big fan of the franchise in general. Again, -1 of them. And this one in particular. So expect a love fest on my end. And appreciate the birthday wishes. Old Papa all appreciates it.
Absolutely. All right. I hate to crap on your birthday pick, but I didn't love Lost World. I'm just going to be honest. and this is no offense. I hope we've gotten to the point where we can disagree on movies and not get mad at each other anymore.
What?
But I don't know. This is and Dustin's called me out on this because I really liked the first Jurassic Park, but I've never seen any of the sequels and just had no desire to watch them. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But I don't know. To me, this movie just felt like a retread, and it just didn't have the same spark, the same magic as the first one. I don't know. I just feel that way because I feel that way. I'm sorry. There are some positives, but I really just wasn't the biggest fan. But maybe if I saw it back then instead of a couple days ago, I would have liked it a lot more. But that's just me. Happy birthday again. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, first of all, I don't believe the 42nd part for a fucking second. It's at least like 66. Anyway, happy birthday, Papa. I'm glad that we're doing this movie here. I have not seen it since I was a kid, like a really young kid. And so I'm not a big fan of the franchise. I've only seen the first three, and I'm not a big fan of it because I don't like them. I just don't have really any desire at this current stage of my life to watch a fictional movie about dinosaurs. So it's not any, I would probably watch them, right? If I caught one on TV and started watching, I'd probably like it because they look like a lot of fun. But anyway, you guys have kind of used a word that I used in my notes a lot. This one, I like it, right? I like this movie. I think it's good. It loses a lot of that movie magic that the first one just absolutely fucking nails. This movie does not have that same aura or lack of, as the kids use. There's no Riz, none of that. It's missing something, that wonder that the first one has when you first see that dinosaur come to life. I akin it to Disney magic, right? It's missing that for me for whatever reason, because it's something we've already seen. And now I feel like we're telling a story that I wasn't necessarily asking for. Now, however, I say all of that to say I like the movie. I akin this movie more to a monster movie, just a pretty damn big budgeted monster movie. And you talked a lot about the book and how Crichton was writing it, and to be honest, they had already purchased the rights to the book that had not been written yet by Crichton at that time. And so Spielberg already had these ideas in his head of what he wanted to do, but wanted Crichton to write the book first. So they're kind of writing the script and the book around the same time. And then so when it all comes together, there's a little bit of book and a little bit of script. I've never read the book, and I probably won't ever read the book. But I do know this. There's a lot of differences, and I feel like Spielberg took this in more like a King Kong, Godzilla direction, especially towards the end of the movie. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's missing a lot of that wonder that the first one really does nail. It's good. I think Goldblum's good. I think the dinosaurs even today look good. They hold up over time. And it does make me care about the dinosaurs as characters, which, especially given, the little T-Rex and its mom, I think that was something I wasn't expecting rewatching it. I think it's good. I haven't seen the third one. I was going to watch it after, but I really didn't want to skip my workout to watch Jurassic Park 3, to be honest. And so I didn't do that, but I plan on watching it this weekend just to see if I like it like I like this one.
Spoiler, you probably won't.
I probably won't. I probably won't. You're right about that.
Yeah, happy birthday to the grandfather of the pod, Brian, for sure. Now, I'm not going to speak to the book, the novelization of this story, because Nico crapped on books enough last week for all of us, so I'm going to spare our reader fans, that. But I think this is just it's a decent movie. It's middle. Brian, you talked about it. You and I are gonna, because we're the only ones that have seen all 7 films. We're gonna rank them at the end. It's pretty middle of the road of the franchise, which isn't a bad thing. This movie definitely has its merit and its redeeming qualities. It does have some flaws as well, but overall, there's a reason Spielberg doesn't do sequels. This was the only sequel that he had ever directed to this point, and he took a lot of the responsibility. He owned up to this movie not getting the critical reception that the first one did. Said his ego got in the way because he was charged up off the success of the first one, that his ego boosted him and he didn't give this one as much attention to the craft that he does his normal films. And I get that, and I think it totally shows. But overall, I do think it's a pretty good movie. I did read also where I think it was the writers had a piece of a fan letter taped up to his computer when he was writing the story, and said that this particular fan's complaint was dinosaurs didn't show up until I think it was like 34 minutes into the movie or something like that. And so he took that personally, to quote Michael Jordan, and he made sure that dinosaurs were present early and often. And I think that actually helped. I like it. This is a movie about dinosaurs. The mystery has already been, spoiled in the first movie. So give us what we came for. And they do that. They do a good job of that in this movie. So overall, I think it's a pretty okay movie. Pretty good.
And last thing I do want to say is I don't care if you say that Jurassic Park movies don't fit the Don't Go Out There horror movie podcast. I think they're monster movies, so I tell you to fuck off. It's my birthday. I'm picking it.
Exactly. I mean, we've done plenty of other stuff that's not horror.
Please.
I mean, we did Frailty. We did...
we did Bone Tomahawk. Oh, sorry.
Bone Tomahawk. Anyway. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Both of those are strongly acted films that exist. All right. I'm doing the scene by scene for this one as well. Anybody else have anything before I jump into it? As always, Lord, bear me strength. We open with an aerial shot of the water near Isla Sorna, 87 miles southwest of Isla Nublar, and we get a very lackluster title card. What was that? Just pathetic. Some rich pricks are being waited on and served on the shore where their daughter wanders off. She finds a tiny dinosaur, and before she knows it, she's surrounded by a whole mess of them. Her parents and their waitstaff hear her screams and rush to check on her, and we get a bizarre scene transition from the mother's scream to a yawning Jeff Goldblum in a subway. Ian Malcolm is back, baby, and he visits John Hammond and is greeted by Tim and Lex. Hey, familiar faces. He's reprimanded by Peter for breaking his NDA, and then John tells him he was right, and then tells him about Site B, Isla Sorna. That's where the magic happened. They released the dinosaurs, and for 4 years, they've lived free and they're flourishing. He's sending a team down to document the island. Ian can't believe what he's hearing, and John tells Ian he wants him to join the crew. Ian declines and says he'll go tell the other 3 to decline too. He tries to call one of them, Sarah, to stop her, but she's already there. Oh, and she happens to be Ian's girlfriend. That's all Ian needed. He's in now. And he says it's a rescue mission now. We meet Eddie and Nick, who's played by Vince Vaughn, and Ian's daughter, and Ian tells her he's got to leave for a few days. The crew heads out, and Eddie shows Ian the weaponry on the boat just off the coast of the island. Nick tells Ian the captain of the boat insists on dropping them here because he won't go any further up the river. He's heard stories about these islands and calls them Los Cinco Muertes, the 5 deaths.
So, fun fact, this was actually the first movie to use that whole late 90s Universal logo that's became so popular and stuck with me anyway. I do love this cold open with the family. It actually stuck with me when I was younger because, I was like, holy shit, like this is a lot darker. I think because of the fact that I guess that there was kids being used as well. Spielberg clearly wanted to flip the tone from the first movie. In the first one, dinosaurs were scary some, yeah, but it was almost like, we were all Alan Grant seeing them for the first time on the big screen. In this one, though, they were a lot like, okay, we're past that. Time to fuck some shit up. It's more aliens, I guess, than E.T., to use a Spielberg reference there. I read a good description of this and I wanted to share it. They describe this opening as saying, we aren't here for wonder, we are here for consequences. And I thought that was a great line. Fun fact, the sequence is lifted from the opening of Michael Crichton's original novel, Jurassic Park. 93 actually skipped that. According to Spielberg, he used it here to just immediately establish tension and foreboding. And right off the bat, it just seems darker. And I thought that was an amazing transition from the scream to Malcolm yawning on the subway that you brought up, Dustin. Speaking of Malcolm, in the novel of Jurassic Park, the characters of John Hammond and Ian Malcolm actually died. But I like his character transition from the first movie to this one. Malcolm goes from this wisecracking side character to a dad, which honestly works better than it had any right to. I really enjoyed it. I think Goldblum's just amazing. I don't think that this is not as good of a movie without Goldblum's like that deadpan, just him being more cynical and carrying this just heavy weight on him. I thought he did a fantastic job. One last thing and I'll shut up. Vanessa Chester playing Kelly. The producers had actually proposed actress Mila Kunis to play Kelly, who's actually only 33 days younger than me, by the way. But Spielberg had already chosen Vanessa from the beginning after seeing her performance as Becky in the film A Little Princess. And I'd say that was a good choice because Vanessa was nominated for a Saturn Award for her performance in this movie. So great open here.
Well, we start this movie. No wonder Brian picked it and liked it. We started with a beautiful opening nature shot. So that was right off the bat. For his birthday, man stuck with his guns. I appreciate that. Also, this scenery makes me miss the beach that I was just at last weekend. I missed that. Anyway, see, the problem with me when I ever am blessed enough to be a dad, I'm going to be just like this dad and let that girl be left alone and tell the mom to quit bugging her. That would be me, and I would probably end up with the same fate. So maybe I should take a look at that somehow. But then again, she's not, she's out here not wearing shoes over here walking around. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I take it back. Now, I will say this would be legitimately horrifying. Not only did this, whatever this is to your naked eye, eat up your daughter, but then you find out it's dinosaurs and it's fucking 1997. This would just be a very difficult thing to process for any modern parent at the time. And I also cracked up at this dude making dino noises. I will say we get some connective tissue to the first one here, and I like that, but like we've all kind of touched on, this movie already feels different. It's darker. It's got a different feel, and it feels like a monster movie waiting to happen already. And so definitely doesn't have that fantastical, feel that we have. This feels more like dinosaur, we're going to eat people. Like that's how the vibe feels already. And I like the scene with Hammond. I actually mentioned the same thing as you, Brian, which is in the original book. For this one, Hammond's not in it because he dies in the first one. So I actually like that change. I like that Hammond is brought back here because I mentioned that connective tissue to the first one. And I think explaining early on what's happened, where we are from the first movie, really does help because he's kind of preaching for leaving this island the way it is, leaving these dinosaurs the way that they are, and letting that happen, and letting kind of nature happen. And we don't, obviously, there's, as normal, humans don't think that way. They always got to fuck shit up somehow. So anyway, but my man here thinks it's hilarious because he's the one that sent Malcolm's girlfriend to Dino Island solo. That shit ain't fucking funny. Can't find her, and you send her to an island with dinosaurs, man. Fuck you. Again, this is just a movie while watching it and taking notes. Feels like one I'm seeing for the first time. Again, I think I was probably 6 or 7 when I saw it the last time. So a lot of this feels really brand new to me. I just didn't remember it that well. I will say I do like the character evolution of Malcolm here. I think from the first one, just almost like not a different character, but just showing some layers of it, kind of playing a shitty dad. Not going to lie, he's kind of a shitty dad. Just, his terms in the beginning of the movie, he isn't by the end. Did not know that she was, no longer doing gymnastics. I just like the more layers of the character that we get here. And again, I've mentioned this in a couple other movies. This feels weird, these movies being in a city of any kind, because I'm so used to them being in nature and in the jungle. So anytime we get a city scene, it feels out of place. And the last thing I put was 5 deaths. What the fuck is this, Super Mario World? Anywho.
Starting my notes off with, this is the first Jurassic Park sequel I've ever watched. I know that's mind-blowing to our audience and my co-host because, I've seen so many movies. I know they're probably shocked hearing that. This little girl is rude and sassy as hell. I would have gotten my ass whooped if I told my mom not to be annoying when I was a little kid. Like, what is going on? And this kid is way too casual singing Dinosaur. This is insane to me. Little girl is hearing way too many noises. Like, I don't know why you're not running away at this point. The daughter is screaming, and it takes forever for any kind of urgency to kick in from anyone. Man, fuck them kids award goes to this whole crew of people. Like, what are we doing? Like, have some urgency. Jeff Goldblum, he might have the most riz I've ever seen in an actor. I just watched The Fly recently. Man, just oozes riz. And it's also good to see Tim and Lex. I mean, we don't see them much, but it's unique seeing them on screen now post meeting them. They're very nice. I recommend meeting them at conventions if you ever get a chance. Good to see Richard Attenborough again as well. This man is just a legend personified. But I guess you guys have mentioned it as well, but I was not a fan of the lighting in the room with he and Ian. I don't know, the colors, they look dull. Like, this is a Jurassic Park movie. Like, it should pop a lot more. Jeff Goldblum is hilarious in this exchange. And I hate to say it this early, but it feels like he's phoned in his performance, or they've just gone a lot cheesier and less serious in the previous installment. This dialogue exchange drug on a bit to me, but hearing that score was very welcomed. Vince Vaughn, hell yeah, he's always welcome on my screen. He always brings a fun presence. Beautiful overhead shot of the boat on the sea, and I know Brian loved all these nature shots. Got to give you some hell over some nature shots on your birthday. And the last thing I got is this opening set of scenes was pretty slow, honestly, but I know a lot of action is on the way.
We see the cruise convoy driving on the island, and it doesn't appear John Hammond was too negatively affected by the disaster at the park, as they've upgraded from Ford Explorers to Mercedes SUVs. Ian and Nick call out for Sarah, and then they see a few Stegosauruses walk by, and Eddie is amazed while Nick takes pictures and Ian brings them back down to reality. They find Sarah, who's played by Gloria Bell herself, Julianne Moore, and now that song is stuck in my head again. Gloria. Anyway, she brushes off Ian's concern and is focused on the mission and gets some up-close and personal pictures of a baby Stegosaurus. Nick and Eddie are still amazed, and Ian calls them fruitcakes. Sarah's camera wigs out, and the sound's bringing the herd in. Sarah makes a run for it and escapes danger by hiding in a log. The group journeys into the jungle, and Eddie spots a fire. They head back to their base and find that it was started by Ian's daughter. She made some good points about what Ian said to her and why she's there, and Sarah has her back. Ian says he's taking Kelly and leaving, and no one else is interested in leaving with him. Sarah tells Ian she doesn't need him to rescue her from this, and right after Ian told Kelly to go outside, he drops the name of our podcast just shy of 33 minutes in and tells her to stay inside. Sarah tells him that she's staying, and then they hear over a dozen InGen helicopters flying in. Oh, it's that dummy Peter with a whole gang of morons. Roland tells Peter he's in charge, and as for his payment, all he wants is the right to hunt a T-Rex. They ride through an assortment of various dinosaurs, and we see a group of guys wrangling a pachycephalosaur, I think, but it uses its thick skull to get away until it's tranked and captured. Ian's group watches from a safe distance, and Dieter shoots another dinosaur with a tranquilizer, and they capture it. Roland finds a T-Rex track and sets off to collect his fee. Dieter has a close encounter with a small dinosaur, and Bert tells him it's not afraid because it has no reason to fear man. So Dieter shocks it and says, now it does.
Yeah, what a dick. I'll tell you what, man, this is really the first time that we hear that John Williams music at the start of this. And I just have to say, with all seriousness, Williams is by far the greatest to ever do it, in my opinion. It was also awesome to see Vince Vaughn, like you guys mentioned. I read that Spielberg had to go watch Swingers, great movie, to let them use the Jaws theme, also a great movie, and cast Vince Vaughn on the spot. And look, this may be a hot take, but I used to always think Julianne Moore was a little miscast in this role. But as I've gotten older, I've realized just how good she is all around Boogie Nights, and I love her now. I do think Spielberg casting them intentionally against type really lended this to kind of just be more grounded. I mean, he didn't just cast action stars, and I appreciated that. In the book, Sarah was an animal behaviorologist, not a paleontologist. The paleontologist who Malcolm went to Isla Sorna to save was a man named Richard Levine, a character who only made it to this movie is kind of just certain aspects of Sarah's character. I laughed when they find Sarah's lucky pack and start calling out for her, and Nick calls out her full name, Sarah Harding, and Ian says, "How many Sarahs are on this island?" That's even funnier because it comes back into play at the end. 22 minutes in, and we get to see those big dinos. And listen, Stegosaurus was my favorite dinosaur when I was little, still is. So to get to see them on the big screen was pretty big deal to me back then. Something me and Dustin kind of discussed with the newer ones and the made up dinosaurs. It's just not the same. I agree with him on that. Hell, writer David Cope Cope. Is it Cope? I think it is. Cope, Koepp. I think it's Cope. By the way, and this makes so much sense now, helped write the OG and this one, and came back for Rebirth, which is why, spoiler alert, I loved Rebirth so much as well, I guess. But here is Dustin where I said that when he was writing the script to this one, he taped a fan letter next to his computer screen. So I'm glad you mentioned that and kind of went into detail about that. Now, with those dinosaurs, I mean, can you tell the early years CG? Yeah. Is it so bad it takes me out of it? No. I mean, hell, this was from 97 and the CG looks as good as some of it nowadays, which is sad, by the way. Do fucking better. I got to shout out that great line that was in all of the trailers from Ian too. Is ooh yeah ooh that's how it always starts, and then later there's running and screaming. The best. And when Nick, look, I'm just gonna probably call him Vince Vaughn, when he says that they expected to film big iguanas. That's actually a reference to the Lost World from 1960, where that film features real iguanas instead of dinosaur models. Anything from the 1960s, you can chalk that up to a favorite of Nico's. Absolutely. And something I think that was lifted directly from Crichton's book, Sarah's belief that dinosaurs won't abandon their young, is taken actually from dinosaur expert Jack Horner's research, real life research. He was actually a consultant on all of the movies in the franchise. Lastly, I'm a big fan of the introduction to the other camp with Engine's private security-led expedition too. It kind of sets up that human conflict that really runs parallel with the dinosaurs, but doesn't really last long. So I liked how they did that. I thought it was a nice writing touch. Another just great group of scenes for me.
I absolutely cracked up at them calling Sarah's name because then it's pointed out how many can there be on the island, like the line that you mentioned there, Brian. I thought that was hilarious. It's also noted a little bit in the subtext about how not as like shock and awe this is now that we're a few years after the fact these dinosaurs have already existed. So a lot of these people are seeing the dinosaurs again. So it's like us as a viewer, you're also not seeing it for the first time. Now there's not something special about dinosaurs. It's just, these things already exist. So we're here again. So you mentioned the CGI. This movie reminds me, same time period, right? So makes sense. Same time period as Titanic. I'm going to find a way to fit it in every review, damn it. Same time period, though. I think the CGI for both of those movies is the same, where sometimes it's really, really good. And other times it's really, really bad if you look too hard. That's where I stand on the CG. I think sometimes the dinosaurs look great. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes some of the explosive stuff looks a little wonky, just like sometimes people walking on the ship in Titanic looks a little funky. Now, if you look too close, you'll know what to look for. But I think it's a mixed bag, and I think it's fine. Like, it doesn't take away anything from the movie. Calling them lizards, also hilarious because, 30 years later, now here we are, them things with some big chickens, especially T-Rexes, bunch of fucking big ass chickens walking around. Probably had some feathers on. So again, they did the best they could with the information they had at the time. And look, man, and I know Dustin will appreciate this. Girlfriend makes a mistake by going somewhere without telling boyfriend, and somehow she turns it around on him and starts running through a list of all the mistakes he's made. That is some gaslighting bullshit if I've ever seen one. Didn't tell him she was going to Dino Island.
That's what they do.
None of that shit. That's what I'm saying, man. I can't believe the hypocrisy in this woman. I actually really like Julianne Moore here as Sarah. I think that she does a good job. I think I think this character actually added a lot to the movie. She's probably my favorite character in the movie, even over Ian Malcolm, who is fine, but like Nico mentioned, I don't like him as much in this movie as I did the first one, honestly. So anyway. So this is, to me, exactly what would happen in the real life if this actually happened, where dinosaurs came back to life and you had this camp of people that just want to observe, watch them, look at them, study them, and then you'd have this group that wants to do Jurassic Park, essentially, right? Like they want to put them on show for everyone, make them entertainment. This is, to me, exactly what you would have in the real world. And I think that dynamic is interesting. I think it's pretty clear Crichton, Spielberg, and that big combination of all of them really had an idea of where they wanted to go with that story. Anyway, I think I'm saying his name right because I'm like, God, this guy's in fucking everything. Pete Postlewaite? Postlewaite? Okay. Anyway, he's in so much shit, man. He plays a great bad guy here and a lot of other stuff. He's also the old fucking worm guy in James and the Giant Peach. So much so that they drew the character to look just like him. So that's all I had.
I'm crying, laughing at Ian yelling out Sarah's name. And I think after just listening to y'all, I think they did just lean more into the cheese. But I wrote down, I hate to be too harsh, but that's what I'd expect from like a low budget movie actor, not Jeff Goldblum. I don't know. But I agree with y'all. Maybe they just leaned into the cheese more. Julianne Moore is now on screen. Have we seen her on our show yet? And after some quick research, he hasn't. But whenever we inevitably do Hannibal and Mike's Guilty Pleasure Psycho remake, she'll be back. I'm not a fan of this score as Sarah is chased by the group of dinosaurs. I wish it was scarier. I think it would add a lot more tension. And after looking at IMDb, I think it's ironic how many times Julianne Moore has been in sequels to iconic films that are, just going off ratings that are significantly lower rated. Silence of the Lambs, Jurassic Park, and Carrie. That's just a legendary run. Good for her. I appreciate the show. Shout out from the legendary Mr. Jeff Goldblum. Truly a humbling moment for us. I didn't expect him to do that, but I really appreciate it. And I recorded that. I forgot to send it to y'all, but I did record that. So Brian plugged that at the beginning. We got action now. This scene with the hunters driving amongst all these dinosaurs is pretty fun to watch and quite refreshing after so much yapping going on. This is the last thing I got. Okay set of scenes, a little more action, but nothing that's really set me on fire yet either.
Roland walks through a ton of flies buzzing around dead carcasses and finds the T-Rex nest and sees a baby eating. Roland says the trick is to get the adult T-Rex to come to him. So they kidnap the baby and chain it in a clearing. Ian's crew spies on the other group, and Eddie is amazed by the technology they brought. The second group is there to take dinosaurs back to the mainland, and Nick says John sent a backup plan in case they ran into him. Nick and Sarah sneak up and free the captured dinosaurs, while Peter tells the board the plan to take the dinosaurs to San Diego, which means, of course, a whale's vagina. His pitch is interrupted by a Triceratops crashing into his tent like the Kool-Aid Man, and Nick frees the baby T-Rex. The baby has a broken leg, so Nick takes it with him, and him and Sarah go back to their base. Ian is trying to radio for help, but that's interrupted by Nick and Sarah with the baby Rex. They start doctoring it, and Kelly freaks out and wants to leave. Ian takes her to join Eddie in the skylift, and then it gets real. Mama Rex cries out, and Ian has to go warm Sarah and Nick. Right as Ian gets to them, so do the parents. An SUV goes flying outside, and we see a cool shot of an adult T-Rex through the window of the trailer behind our group, and there's two Tyrannosaurs stalking the trailer. They give the baby back and think they're in the clear until the Rex flips the trailer and pushes it over a cliff. As it hangs, Sarah falls, and the window that broke her fall is now breaking itself. Ian climbs down to save her, and the satellite phone falls and smashes out the window right as he's able to grab her. He holds her as she cries, and we hear car horns honking.
Yeah, Roland is a badass, I think, in this movie. I think he's very comparable to Muldoon in the first one, who I really liked a lot. And, this set of scenes, it really sucks me in if I'm not already 100% locked in. The dinos being released to destroying Injun's camp, I thought was badass. And you're really rooting for the dinosaurs here, which is, definitely different from the first one. But the attack on the trailer, yeah, I liked that a lot. The animatronics from Stan Winston's team are still absolutely top-notch. The full-size T-Rexes actually had to be constantly doused with water to keep the foam rubber skin from drying out, which is a far cry from them breaking down that we talked a lot about that always happened in the first one when we reviewed it. Don'tGoOutThere.com. Spielberg was quoted as saying that mobility was essential for the scene in which the T-Rexes attacked the trailer, and working on a stage set at Universal, the Winston crew, quote, gleefully rammed the T-Rex rigs into the vehicle over and over again. Effects supervisor Shane Mahan said, I think out of everything on this movie, we had the most fun smashing up the RV with the two T-Rexes. At first we were hesitant, thinking that we had to be careful with the rigs, but it got to the point where we were just like, to hell with it. And we just demolished that trailer with the T-Rex rigs. That scene wasn't faked. Those T-Rexes were really slamming into that thing, breaking glass and shaking it. I think the scene really works because we went for it like that. You can tell that something truly violent is happening. And That's end quote. And I agree. I mean, 100% worked for me. And CG I think would have been ridiculous right there, especially for 1997. Just another great group of scenes, and in a 2-hour movie, and we were halfway through, and honestly, to me, maybe not Nico, but to me, it didn't feel, I didn't feel that runtime at all anyway.
Man, like, I did not expect to go into this movie feeling this way, but watching this whatever Saurus get trapped was hard to watch, man. It felt really, really cruel. I know it. I'm pretty, it's a young T-Rex. I understand, but it's a lot of chicken DNA in that there thing's all I'm saying. Anyway, but watching these animals get trapped, just made me feel like any other animal or species of animals get trapped. It was cruel. I'm going to do this one more time just because I want to and I can. Hate to be back on Titanic again, but these guys and their crew feel like the Brock Lovett of this movie. Or they spent all these years kind of searching for this big prize, and ultimately they're missing the point, right? They want to use these dinosaurs to make money and for all these other reasons instead of just letting them live out their life. You brought them back. I don't think we need to use them for our entertainment. Again, they've missed their point. And I do like that their camp got attacked. Let's fucking go. That's how you fuck shit up right there. Especially because my man makes everybody feel dumb for letting it happen. And well, I don't know, man. I had some notes here I definitely took as I was watching, and now I'm thinking back. I was like, what is this talking about? I don't know. I wrote some like random ass shit in this set of scenes for some reason. But, in the middle of this dino whatever, we get more layers to this Ian Malcolm is kind of a bad dad story, and I appreciate the depth. It's not overkill. We're still in a monster movie, but at least we're fleshing out that character a little bit. I actually kind of like that it's sprinkled in. I think this is a really cool, fun shot of the T-Rex outside of the van. Those shots are always awesome when they happen in these movies, and I thought the effects looked really, really great, held up really well. Again, Sarah's point is proven that dinosaurs don't abandon their young, as it's made very clear right here, because this mama T-Rex is willing to do anything and everything. I will say, nitpick, some of the effects as they're hanging off the back of this van bus thing that they have, not great. It doesn't. I'm not believing that they're hanging over a cliff personally, but that's a nitpick, right? I mean, again, it's 1997. I can't expect it to look perfect. I will say though, and this is the last thing I have. Real intense scene with that glass cracking as Sarah's, up against it. I thought that was really, really intense. I thought, man, that's a really good scene, a good way to end that one. I think this set of scenes is okay. I do like that we're picking the action up though, because it's kind of just time to have some dinosaur shit. Like, again, the magic and wonder is gone. Let's just have some fucking dinosaur shit fucking shit up. So sorry for all the fucking shits fucking.
Nothing can quite ruin the filming of a commercial like a Triceratops running through your tent, I tell you what. Shout out to Nick and Sarah taking care of this poor dino with the broken leg. We love when people have some compassion. Reminds me of that coyote getting beat with a tire iron. But anywho, Kelly's acting, showing her fear and warning to go somewhere safe, wasn't very good in my opinion. It wasn't believable in the slightest. It's no offense to the child actor, but it just wasn't my favorite. Hearing that T-Rex roar would have my butt cheeks tighten up the crack of walnut. But I did laugh at Kelly, but you never keep your word to her dad. Damn, all right, then. That's painful right there. Ian wasn't graceful in the slightest getting out of that fortress in the air, whatever that thing was. Man hit every damn limb on the way down. But I did love the shot of the T-Rex entering the scene behind the trio of people in the back window. I thought that was excellent. I laughed again at Goldblum's line delivery. They're pushing us over the cliff. Loved it. I love Jeff Goldblum. He's hilarious. I couldn't imagine how terrified I'd be hanging over a cliff looking at an impending doom. The tension has picked up, and this is genuinely scary. Sarah stuck on the shattering windshield. Like, that's really terrifying. And the last thing I got is, holy shit, what a save catching the lucky backpack she grabbed at the same time. I thought that was a really good scene.
Eddie pulls up in an SUV and calls out for Ian, Sarah, and Nick. He makes his way into the trailer, and the three in need of rescuing still have their senses of humor as they ask for food along with a rope. Eddie ties a rope to a stump and tosses the other end to them, but then the trailer starts to slide in the rain towards the ledge. Eddie tries to use his winch cable, but it gets jammed, and Ian and crew almost fall out of the back of the trailer when the rope gives. The SUV isn't heavy enough to anchor the trailer, though, and now it's sliding. Eddie gives her all she's got and throws it in reverse and starts pulling the trailer, but Sarah has another close call and almost falls out. As if this wasn't stressful enough, the T-Rexes are back, and they start disassembling the bins with their teeth. And they disassemble poor Eddie, too. The trailer finally goes over the edge, but our group is hanging on for dear life to the rope, and they're able to climb up, where the second engine crew are there to save them. Nick and Ian get into a bickering match with Peter about the ethics and danger of it all, and Sarah says they have to move out now because the T-Rexes think that this is their territory. There's a problem, though. Velociraptors are in their path to where they need to go. Roland says he ain't scared and leads them onward. They see blood on the leaves, but it's not a Kanye song, and they stop for a break. Dieter goes to drain the main vein and gets a jump scare from a tiny dino. When he gets back, he gets turned around, and Carter can't hear his calls for help as he's listening to music on his headphones. Classic Carter. He takes a nasty spill and tumbles down a hill, right into a pack of the tiny dinos, who gnaw on him from head to toe. He fights them off, and the group heads out without him. He trips and falls again, clumsy idiot, and the little fellas are back for more. And this time they finish the job. Roland realizes he's gone and takes Carter to look for him. Peter tries to lead the rest of the crew, but they don't move until Nick says, "Let's get the hell out of here."
Yeah, so throughout the years of this podcast, I mean, Dustin and I both, I know, have pointed out the Wilhelm scream in certain movies. It's used here, actually, at around 1 hour and 5 minutes as Eddie is being eaten by the Tyrannosauruses. Maybe my favorite kill of the movie, too. I mean, ripping him apart is just fucking diabolical. Love the line from my guy Roland, too. Settle up, let's get this moving feast on the way. Great line. God, you butchered his name earlier, Mike. I'm going to do it now. Pete Postlethwaite. He's been quoted as saying that he considered this one of his best performances. You won't get an argument from me. Although you brought up some movies, he did The Usual Suspects as well, The Town, Inception. The guy was a genius. R.I.P. to him. He actually passed away back in 2011. But finished with a 1994 Oscar for Best Supporting Actor and was also nominated for a Saturn Award for this film as well. Now, I do love the compies, which were the tiny dinosaurs getting their revenge on my guy Peter as well. And, although the compies that are first seen running in the forest and jumping were CG, the actual attack was accomplished by Shane Mahan's crew almost entirely with practical puppets. Stan Winston's studio built a dozen of those little compy puppets of 4 different types to create different range of behaviors required in the scene. Now, I do think it's a lot crazy to say, okay, the Mexican guy listening to Mexican music couldn't hear him, but they aren't, but like a few feet away from everyone else. So nobody else heard him. Okay. All right. Okay. Super quiet. Anyway, regardless, my favorite singular scene comes up here in the next set. Big third act coming up.
I cracked up at this double cheeseburger line for whatever reason. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but it was. Again, this scene is intense. And I can appreciate them taking a break from the dino action a little bit, even though I'm asking for more. But, the dinosaurs kind of already left. And so it feels like this, are we going to fall off the cliff stuff will last way longer than I wanted to. I feel like them being saved and then getting back to work would have sufficed, especially after we get a second fake out like they're going to fall into the water. I mean, one person died. Again, somebody's got to be on screen to die. But anyway, being saved by your enemy, I thought deep about this. Being saved by your enemy would really fucking suck, though, because you're kind of like, well, shit, man, I don't want to fucking be nice to you, and I'm not going to be nice to you. That was your mistake for saving me. Anyway, and I'm sorry, I'm really bad with writing down names, as you guys know, but main villain guy here looks, when he wears that certain hat, looks like fucking British Radar from MASH. That's what he looks like. He looks like Radar from MASH, but with a British accent, which... shout out to MASH, one of the GOAT fucking shows, man. Anyway, it would be really hard to work with these assholes, and I don't know how obligated I'd feel. You chose to save me, kind of like we talked about here. I will say, this idea where all the dinosaurs live on one island in one place, pretty solid idea. Snake Island is a real thing, and at some point in their evolution, I think a lot of people that work with animals and work with snakes are worried that those snakes are eventually going to find their way all the way to the mainland and we're all going to be fucked. But that's not today. We're going to let the future generations worry about that shit. The same way that they do this shit with dinosaurs, we're going to let them worry about that. Look, I'm just, all right. 97 stereotype. I got to call it out. I'm just not fully convinced that just because someone is Mexican, they're bumping mariachi music in their fucking Walkman. I'm not, come on, man. I feel like, Mexicans listen to other music as well. It's not just da 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 in their headset every fucking day. Come on, man. Anyway, this is going to sound horrible out of context, but I did write it down. Those little fuckers would tear your ass to pieces. Those are some fucking, scary little fuckers. I always ask the question, would you rather fight, 1 or 3 big ducks or, 1,000 horse-sized ducks or duck-sized horses, all that bullshit. That's what I thought of when I saw all these little dinosaurs. I'm like, I feel like I could take these motherfuckers if I had a golf club, just start fucking swinging at their ass. I feel like I could handle these guys. I'm just saying, as someone who snuck onto this island, Kelly makes a lot of demands of people. All right. I mean, you chose to come here. No one asked you to come. Actually, you were told to stay back, but you chose to come here on your own. So I don't want to hear your demands and your whining. You better get to work, get them hands dirty, girl. Last thing I have, sometimes this scenery looks really good and real. And I can buy in to that I'm on an island with a bunch of dinosaurs and scientists. On the other hand, occasionally this looks like a Universal ride, man. Some of this looks like I'm in a fucking Jeep at Universal Studios and they're taking me around a Jurassic Park safari. And so that's kind of, I don't know if that was intentional, but that's the kind of feeling I got. Although they used to kind of be that. Remember the old King Kong one that was like up really high and you had that massive fucking gorilla banging on? I cried like a little baby back bitch when I was 5 years old on that there, or 6 years old. Anyway, go ahead.
Alrighty. The scene continues to be tense as the trailer starts to roll over the edge, and I laughed when Buddy was running with that winch and got yanked back. I was crying laughing. It reminded me of The Ring whenever folks is doing it too. I laughed out loud. I appreciate Eddie's effort to trying to keep the trailers from going over the edge, but gravity is stronger than these winches, my friend. And oh great, 2 T-Rex show up exactly what I need in a moment like this. Intense moment as the trailers fall over the cliff and the 3 hang on and make it back on the land. I did enjoy that. I like the way this fall scene with Dieter is shot, but damn, what an awful attack scene getting swarmed by these little dinos. Carter, of course, not paying attention. It's frustrating. Like, why would you even consider listening to music on this island at a time like this? It just makes no sense. And all these, like you mentioned, Brian, all these people were near Carter, and he's only talking for or yelling for Carter. No one else could hear this man. And Dieter, you better get up, pal. You can't be falling over and staying down too long with these little buggers around. They remind me of like African wild dogs. Like, you don't want to mess with them. I'm assuming he dies here, and what a horrific way to go. And this is the last thing I got. Some good chase scenes and a death, but I don't know. I'm just still underwhelmed for a Jurassic Park movie.
Well, it's nap time now, and Roland returns with news of Dieter's demise. He tells Peter and Ian the plan to make it to their destination, and as Ian heads back, we hear some rumbling footsteps. The rumblings wake Sarah up, and we see a T-Rex shadow outside of her tent. It pokes its whittle nose inside, and she whimpers in terror. Kelly wakes up, and it's a tense scene as the massive predator sniffs around. Carter wakes up with a scream, and everyone panics and starts to run. Dummies. Roland takes a shot, but his ammo has been compromised. Everyone is scattering, and one poor fella trips and is squashed by the T-Rex's massive foot. Roland re-ups on ammo and pulls a Leroy Jenkins, thinking he can take it out. His dart only pisses the Tyrannosaur off, and it chases the group into a cave under a waterfall. Bert can't maintain his composure when a snake crawls in his shirt and walks right into the T-Rex's mouth. The group heads across the field, where now they're being stalked by raptors. At least 6 men are taken down by the overgrown chickens on screen, and we hear more screams as Ian tells Sarah and Kelly to run as fast as they can. They spot the communications building, and Nick goes to check it out. He finds a power switch, and surprisingly, it works. He radios out asking for a rescue, and we see Peter scared out of his mind, and Ian, Sarah, and Kelly making their ways towards Nick. Sarah is pounced on by a raptor, but gives it the slip and runs away after it stole her backpack. More raptors appear as Ian creates a diversion, and despite his hitch and his giddy-up, From his bum leg, he's able to outrun the raptors and get inside. He's not safe, though, as a raptor jumps right through the window. He's able to duck inside an old truck, and we see Sarah and Kelly holed up in a shed with raptors trying to get in. They try to dig their way out underneath the back wall, but a raptor thwarts that plan. Ian joins them in the shed, where they hide in the rafters from the raptors. Kelly uses her gymnastic skills and kicks her raptor out the window. Yeah, I said that. Completely ridiculous and outrageous. They try to escape on the roof, but there's raptors waiting in both directions. Sarah loosens the clay tile shingles and sends the raptor crashing to the ground, where it fights with the other raptor, giving her a chance to run away. We see the helicopter arrive for rescue. That was fast. And our 4 good guys are evacuated. On the chopper, Nick reveals he had Roland's bullets, and Roland declines Peter's offer to join InGen when they get back. Sarah sees that they have a T-Rex in a container as they fly over, and the next set of scenes is the ending.
Yeah, and I have the most here for this set, so bear with me. I love the callback to the first one with Ian seeing the ripple in the mud puddle, especially since, wasn't he the one who saw the cup in the Jeep in the OG with the ripple? I think it was him. But also him being the one trying to tell everyone not to move when the T-Rex is in the camp, as, Alan was the one trying to tell him in the last one. Now, the T-Rex chasing the people and then basically outrunning him is outrageous. A lot more people needed to die here or needed to dive off into the woods. It was insane. This is the first thing in the movie that I didn't care for, but unfortunately not the last. That will bring the score down for me some. Now, in the waterfall, that crunching when he ate David, I think his name was Snake Guy. I don't know. He deserved it, but the sound effect was awesome. Now, when the T-Rex actually licks Sarah, that's taken from the chapter Tyrannosaur of the original Jurassic Park novel, when Rexy does the same thing to Tim Murphy. And that one was one of the scenes that was planned for the first movie but was never used. So Spielberg used it here. Now, the tall grass raptor shit is my favorite scene in the whole franchise. The whole franchise. That overhead shot of them walking and then the raptors closing in on them with us just seeing the trails and the grass, amazing. Now, in my head, for 28 damn years, I've had this scene in the daytime overhead happening. I don't know why. I even thought it was in the trailer, but it wasn't. So maybe it was on some artwork. I don't know. But I did do some research, and the script actually lists a deleted scene, a deleted sequence that would have shown more footage of the raptor attack in the long grass, with AJ seeing the hunters fall around him and closing his eyes as the pack moves in to finish him off. The scream that Ian, Sarah, and Kelly would have heard as they arrived at the edge of the long grass was reportedly supposed to be AJ's. Still shots actually do exist of AJ standing alone in the field of grass and a full-size animatronic tiger-striped raptor being prepared for filming, but the footage of that sequence has never been released to the public, unfortunately. And this is where we, ironically, get that call back that I talked about at the start, where they're looking for Nick in the worker village, and we get Malcolm calling out to his name by his full name, Nick Van Owen. I thought that was a nice little callback, nice touch anyway. Now, last thing, we go from what I thought is the best scene in the Raptors in the grass to the worst scene with this whole Kelly gymnastics bullshit. Spielberg even later said, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. Well, we agree, Steven. We agree. Do better. Maybe one day you'll be a big-time director and have a hit or two. This is also the last time we see Nick. He was supposed to actually die in the script, but Spielberg changed it, and test audience liked him so much that after this, he just fucking disappears for the rest of the movie. It's crazy. It's kind of just one of those crazy things. Sorry I talk so much. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, again, I've kind of mentioned it, but this is really where it starts to feel, I think, Nico may be feeling it a little bit too. It feels more like a war/action movie than like a fantasy monster movie sometimes when it comes to this. Like, not that that's bad or anything. It just loses that appeal that I love so much about the first one. Now, one thing I could go for is a fucking Crackle Bar. Are you kidding? That sounds fucking delicious right now. I'd tear that shit up. Some product placement there. and it works because it made me want one. I didn't go buy one, but I think I will go buy one here in the next week or so. Again, with the benefit of hindsight, as scary as this T-Rex is, the more accurate T-Rex that assembles a giant fucking bird would be just as fucking scary and terrifying. It'd be like being hunted by a massive cassowary. Have you guys ever seen a fucking cassowary bird? Jesus Christ, man. Real fucking living dinosaur if I've ever seen one. That shit is scary as hell. These are great visuals, though. Even today, I feel like a lot of, the stuff with the T-Rex here and the Raptors really age well. And again, something, and it's a small thing, but I kind of feel like every time someone dies, gets eaten, instead of showing it, they like show red water for some reason, or water turning red. I kind of like that, right? I mean, again, we're going to kind of switch the feel of the movie from family friendly to a little bit darker. And I felt like that's a way to at least kind of keep it somewhat family friendly and again, magical for lack of a better term. I will say, you know how much I kind of shake my fist, old man at clouds, about chase scenes, especially if they go really fucking long, like I think this one does. The only thing that I like about this one is the setting. It feels different on this island, I guess. It's fun. It's fine. Vince Vaughn being the one to find the old Jurassic Park signs is fun. Like, again, Vince Vaughn being in a Jurassic Park movie, just something I completely forgot, didn't retain that in my brain. I think that's a lot of a pretty fun Easter egg. I like that they find this base for, what they wanted Jurassic Park to be. And it looks like it's been there for like 45 to 50 years, and it's been there for a couple. I thought that was funny. Look, I stuck up for the dinosaurs earlier, and I'm not saying all these people deserve to die. Humans brought them back in this movie. But instead of just leaving them alone, I don't know why we have to keep fucking with them. It's like a shark attack. Anytime somebody gets sad about somebody dying, I'm like, that's sad, but also you were kind of swimming in their home, man. I don't know what to, it's like, it's not quite the same as jumping in a fucking Harambe cage, but kind of.
It must have been because you're looking at pictures. You went a little Kermit right there. You were like, yeah, so
that's just how I talk sometimes. I'm also eating, here's the actual reason, peanut butter rice cake. That's why.
Bah. Peanut butter and a penis.
Yeah. Whoa. Calm the fuck down, pal. Anyway, joke about that. Take that very seriously. Dude, what if I just did a fucking Kermit, though? Anyway, I love the line from Ian to Kelly about the school cutting her from the gymnastics team. A nice little callback there. Last thing, they got out and all these other idiots stayed. Again, I like that, a lot of this just there's some of this that just feels like, come on, man, even for a fantasy movie where dinosaurs come back to life, that shit ain't gonna happen, dog. So that's all I had.
Yeah, some more good tension as the kids encounter the T-Rex in the tent, and I like the score. Panic at the Campground, am I right? Nice little play on words for the emo band, Panic at the Disco. Brian, I know you haven't heard of them, but anywho. But seriously, though, how did they not hear a T-Rex marching up, though? Like, just give me a break with that. Like, we saw him earlier running through the forest, and, like, he's knocking over all the damn trees. Brutal death, getting stomped to death by a T-Rex. That's my personal favorite kill. Just going to go ahead and tease that now. This island-like score playing as Roland gets the tranquilizer gun, as he gets the gun out. I kind of dug it. I liked it. This is claustrophobic and scary as a T-Rex pins him in that cave, and horrible timing for a snake to get in Buddy's shirt. Jeff Goldblum Riz is the only thing that kept him alive as he made it to the cave. We love to see it, because how the fuck did he make it in there alive? But holy cow, these velociraptors are stealthy hunters. They are taking these folks out fast as hell, and I thought it was shot very well, too. I like that scene a lot, Brian. What is up with the pathetic reaction times, though? The velociraptor jumps on Sarah. She puts up no resistance, and Ian takes forever to react. What's going on here? I thought he was a dinosaur veteran. Laughed immediately at him going in the building, shutting the door just for it to jump through the window. I laughed out loud. I thought that was hilarious. T-Rex is king, but these velociraptors are some damn menaces, aren't they? Like a sprained ankle, nothing to play with. Predictable but effective jump scare with Kelly going under the wall and it appearing. And the last thing I got is the raptor chases have been intense, and I'm ready for the ending. It's getting a little bit better.
Well, here it is, the ending. The helicopter flying is transitioned to the chopper arriving in the city to the engine headquarters. And Ian and Sarah try to get in Peter's press conference, but they're turned away by security. Peter is called away because the ship is coming in hot, It plows into the dock, and we find out the crew is all dead. Ian yells for everyone to get off the boat, and a dummy opens the cargo hold to release a T-Rex. The T-Rex seems upset to be in this new world, but did anyone consider showing it an episode of Monday Night Raw or a picture of Jenny McCarthy? 1997 wasn't all that bad. The dumb crew didn't give it enough tranquilizer, and Sarah has a plan to use the baby T-Rex to lure the parent away. What we see next is the most memorable part of the movie to me. A full-grown T-Rex waltzing through the suburbs. A kid sees it outside his window and calmly goes to tell his parents while the T-Rex scares the dog and drinks the pool water. The parents see their pet has become dino food, and Sarah and Ian head to get the baby. The T-Rex is making its way downtown, walking fast, vehicles pass, and takes a stoplight down, and we get a hilarious moment where a Japanese guy is running and looks back over his shoulder in a clear nod to Godzilla. Ian whips the car into a gas station, and they get the parents' attention. They speed off, luring it away, and then take off on foot with the baby. They run past Peter, who chases after them, and they plant the baby on the ship and jump into the water. Peter wants the baby, and his greed gets the best of him. Haven't seen a parent and child do damage like that since Rey and Dominic Mysterio tagged up. R.I.P. Peter, you bozo. Ian closes the hatch, which shuts in slow motion, and the T-Rex doesn't even try to escape. It just stands there. It's shot with a tranq dart and safely contained. We see on the news the dinosaurs are being shipped back to the island, and we see the once extinct creatures thriving in nature as the movie ends.
All right, so look, the ending of this, the whole San Diego sequence is absolutely ridiculous, and it completely rules. It's kind of a cool Easter egg that the ship that transports the T-Rex, there's a reference to King Kong from 1933. See our review, don'tgooutthere.com, as I named it the SS Venture, same as in that movie. Nico would know, he loves that movie, it's like his favorite one. And they actually used a 1/8 scale dock and miniature ship that were created for the scene where it crashes on land. I thought it looked fantastic. Now, arguably the most memorable shot of the movie is the T-Rex drinking the water of the pool. Either that or the roar on the dock with the San Diego in the background. The story apparently goes that while at his vacation home in the Hamptons for the 4th of July, Spielberg suddenly saw an image in his mind of a boy looking out of his bedroom to see a T-Rex drinking from a family swimming pool. That's a random thought I get as well whenever I'm out with my family on the 4th of July. So, I get it. Prompted by the image he saw, Spielberg changed the ending to what is seen here and included the image he saw as the scene where the buck approaches the house of the young Benjamin and his family. That was not in the original script at all, but I'm glad he put it in there. And at around an hour and 50 minutes, the man that's eaten by the T-Rex near the video store, the Blockbuster there in San Diego, is David Koepp, as I said earlier, the main writer of the movie. Funny enough, and this goes back to whatever movie it was that we were recording, and I said Dustin should be in charge of writing the credits. He is credited in this movie as Unlucky Bastard. There's an entire deleted scene where the pterodons, I call them pterodactyls, so I'm not really sure what the pterodons are. I don't know my dinosaurs that well, I guess. Fuck. But when they attack the chopper at the end, I think most of the ideas that were used in Jurassic Park 3, which is on my list as I want to finish this franchise now on the show, so gear up. All in all, great ending. Also something I didn't appreciate in my youth. I used to actually not really care for the T-Rex showing up in San Diego, but through the years, that's something else I've changed my mind on as well. So I think it's cool contrast, and I think it's something in a sequel that would qualify as taking it to the next level, in my opinion. So I'm glad they put that in there as well.
Look, I don't understand wanting to capture a dinosaur and bring it to the mainland in the first place. That sounds like a fucking terrible idea. No matter what your end goal is, that just sounds really fucking stupid. I'm not gonna lie, this boat coming in and moving everybody out of the way was fucking hilarious. I don't know if it was supposed to be intentionally funny, but goddamn it was. I think this is a great, and I do mean great, shot of the Rex popping out of the cargo hole. I loved that shot. I thought it was really great. Kind of like when Jason Voorhees takes a boat ride to Manhattan, doesn't actually take Manhattan. This is a really cool shot, a cool visual of a dinosaur in the backdrop of a city like this. Just a cool shot, man. Like, there's no other way about it. It's just like when Voorhees is looking up at Times Square. Very similar vibes to me. I was like, all right, this is cool. Now, we see the dinosaur drinking out of a pool. Someone tell that fucking dinosaur the chlorine's bad for you, okay? Because you're about to ruin this whole dinosaurs are back thing by drinking too much goddamn pool water. Should have poisoned you inside. You'll be out of here. But anyway, I love the line, follow the screams. And then we get what's basically a mini Godzilla scene here, which is something Spielberg insisted on having in this film, by the way. It was that was a big push from him from the beginning before the script was even finished. He wanted to have that. Now, come on, guys. They put Asian people there on purpose, dog. That shit was fucking funny. And y'all know that shit was fucking funny. Come on, man. They had a group of Asian people running away from a fucking dinosaur. Come on, dog. That shit. They messing with Nico. Yeah. Right. They're messing right in Nico's face about his people, man. I'm not talking about Kentuckians. Come on. Anyway, one of the few, chase scenes that I enjoyed, to kind of wrap it up here, Radar Jr. getting what he deserves. Quit fucking with animals and they'll quit fucking with you. Unless it's beef or pork, of course, then I'm going to shoot you in the head. Or venison. God, I love backstrap. Last thing, I do love the fact that the movie ends with the line of life finds a way, or life find a way. So I've always liked that line. It's probably one of the things that stick out about this franchise to me is that quote, because I've used it a lot. So again, I like the movie. It was a fun one to talk about, but it just, to me, has a drop-off from that first one after a rewatch. Not bad, though. Not bad.
Yeah, more piss-poor reaction times. How the fuck did no one pick up on how fast this huge ship is coming towards them until the last second? Like, I don't make it make sense. The T-Rex emerging out of nowhere was dope, and I imagine, and I know Brian can probably attest, was awesome seeing on the big screen back in 1997. That sign said no fruits, vegetables, or animals, but said nothing about dinosaurs, so it did nothing wrong. Good idea, doggo. Hiding in the doghouse while a T-Rex is lurking is smart. If I were these parents, though, I would shit myself if I saw a T-Rex in my backyard. But sadly, it appears the old doggo got. We hate to see it. I know it's 1997, but I wish the picture of the dinosaur and the scenery was crispier. Why does it look so much worse compared to the first film? I don't know, maybe Dustin has in the fun facts, maybe they use different cameras, I don't know. But like you guys have mentioned, I laughed out loud seeing Asian folks running from the T-Rex. Godzilla first, now this. My people just can't catch a damn break. And $1.15 gas prices, Lord, I've seen what you've done for others. We need that now. And what in the world is taking so long to get the T-Rex tranquilized? Like, I don't know, the lack of sense of urgency in this movie is just bothering me. I thought the ending was okay, but I just thought it was, like you mentioned, Mike, I'm going to be a little more harsh. I just thought it was a big step down in quality from the first one. Sorry, Brian. Love you, brother. Respectfully. Now, let's jump into the old social media comments and questions. I only got 2 of them on Instagram. Movie Motif Pod comment. It might be the unpopular opinion, but I quite like this one. Of course, Jurassic Park from 93 is a masterpiece, but I found this one entertaining. Very fair. And Kevin Scanlon commented, I don't hate this one, but I'm not a fan either. I believe I gave it like a 5.5 out of 10. Beyond the first film and without having seen Dominion or Rebirth to this point, the only other film I like in this franchise is Jurassic World.
God damn it, Kevin Scanlon.
God damn it, Bernice.
Hey, Nico, that's some dodgeball.
I said the quote.
I know.
And Vince Vaughn is in that movie.
Hey, yes, he is. All right, I got X pulled up, the artist formerly known as Twitter. I'm going to say that probably forever.
Every time.
Until they change it back like HBO Max finally did. Randy Smith, Go Dogs, said, I don't get the hate for this movie. Is a perfect masterpiece like the original? Isn't a perfect masterpiece like the original, but it's a solid sequel. I also love all of them except Dominion. And then Sean the Glee Man said, 3rd best in the franchise, which isn't saying much since all the Jurassic World movies are terrible. Wow.
Disagree. Hard disagree. All right, from Facebook, Jennifer Davis from the Too Close to Home podcast says, it was still one of my favorite movies to use quotes from on a daily basis, and then quotes, violence and technology, not good bedfellows. Makes sense why Brian would pick it. Wishing you a happy birthday from your fellow dino enthusiasts. Thank you, Jennifer Davis. And Matthew Heffer. Okay, guys, if any of you bring up these points in your review before you get to this message, I'm sorry to repeat them again. Number one, why does Vince Vaughn just disappear? He goes to call the mainland. We get him in the rescue helicopter, and then gone like a fart in the wind. I did actually cover that in the review there.
I've got the real answer. He heard there was a wedding on the island, and he had to go crash it real quick. Then he came back.
Oh, hey-oh. There you go. Okay. Nice.
Big dodgeball matchup
that was from Wedding Crashers, Nico. All right, so number two, how did everyone on the ship get killed if the T-Rex and its child were locked in the storage area? Is this another ship on the way to Manhattan with Jason hiding on board? Quite possibly, because we learned there is...
that ship was also the Demeter. They didn't tell you that, but Dracula was on board.
Oh, wow. Dustin knows everything on this. Yeah. Number three, you have got Ian Malcolm, who is super smart. Pete Postlewaite, R.I.P., playing an expert hunter with all his trackers and hunters, and nobody says anything to Julianne Moore about her clothes being covered in infant T-Rex's blood, and she even hangs her jacket outside the tent. Well, I think that Pete Postlewaite's character knew it, saw it. He was clocked to doing that. So I think that he just was kind of using her as bait to get that T-Rex to come up there. Maybe I'm wrong in that. But which leads me to, how did nobody hear the T-Rex sneak into the camp and sniff the blood-soaked jacket? Not even going to start on Ian Malcolm's daughter mysteriously showing up and being a very good gymnast. Me thinks that this may be a skill that will come in handy later in the film. Just like the girl in the first film who could hack computers, that came in handy as well, didn't it? I've stopped my rant now. I've given myself a nosebleed and don't even feel like comparing the nasty, vicious, man-eating velociraptor to my ex-wife. Happy birthday, Brian. All the best from jolly old England.
I feel like that guy and I would be great friends.
I do too.
Because I also had a succubus of an ex-wife. God rest her soul.
I'm about to say rest in peace.
God, Jesus. Jesus Christ.
Go ahead with your fun facts.
All right, I got a couple. You want to go, Brian?
I mean, I've got a few too, so go ahead, man. I've talked.
All right. Julianne Moore admitted that she did this movie for two reasons: to pay off the exorbitant divorce settlement that had been awarded to her ex-husband, and to work with Steven Spielberg. And that she's admittedly has admitted that she enjoyed herself tremendously. The vocalizations for the juvenile Tyrannosaurus were of a baby camel crying for its mother. There's a lot of those fun facts about what sounds were used. I just thought that one was the funniest. Was offered the role of Peter Ludlow, but turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. He was replaced by Arliss Howard. I just included that so I could give a shout out to a very special movie called Tiptoes with Gary Oldman.
I was about to say, this man did Tiptoes and not a Jurassic Park movie.
Everyone go watch Tiptoes with Gary Oldman and Matthew McConaughey. It's even funner if you don't know what it's about before you go watch it. And then the last one I've got is that Vince Vaughn was in Anchorman with Missy Pyle, who was also in Dodgeball, who was in Just Before I Go with David Arquette.
Nice. I only have two now. Thank you. In Michael Crichton's novel, the opposing group on the island is not led by Peter Ludlow, who does not exist in either novel, but rather by Louis Dodgson, who was head of the rival company in Biosyn, who had hired Dennis Nedry in Jurassic Park. Dodgson hides from the T-Rex under a Jeep with Sarah Harding, who kicks him out to lead the T-Rex away from her. And this is also likely her revenge, as he threw her overboard after their initial meeting in the hopes of killing her. Man, the book is violent. Screenwriter David Cope said the plot of the film Hatari from 1962. Nico, tell me about that movie later. About African animals being captured for zoos had a big influence on the Lost World script. Again, top three are all written by David Cope, who also wrote the first Mission Impossible and the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, as well as Stir of Echoes and just a plethora of amazing movies. He may be my new top 5 favorite writer. I didn't realize he had written so many of those.
Dude, I loved Hatari. I'm not even joking. I think that's my favorite John Wayne movie, and that's like not a John Wayne movie. It's not a Western. But I love that movie.
Nice.
I loved it as a kid anyway.
Yeah, it's good.
This guy.
Oh man, this motherfucker. All right, because I've forgotten all of 2 times in the last 5 years, some asshole emailed me the budget yesterday, just thinking I was gonna fucking forget like an asshole. So let me go ahead and read let's see who this asshole is. Brian Hathaway sent me an email that says budget $73 million. Worldwide gross $618,638,999. Gross $72 million domestically in its opening weekend. Then the biggest opening weekend gross in history, breaking the record set by Batman Forever. Coincidentally, Batman Forever took the record from Jurassic Park 1993, which in turn took the record from Batman Returns in 1992. Somebody sent that in. Thanks for listening to the show, Brian
God, it's
Hathaway.
so funny. He emailed it
Bro,
to you. That's
email
so
it makes
fucking
it so
funny to
much
me.
funnier. That's hilarious. There's one thing about
fax it to him next time.
There's one thing about the '90s. We love dinosaurs and Batman. That's for sure.
Jesus, tell me about it. Batman and Jurassic Park was Drake and Kendrick before they even got there.
Brian,
that was probably a terrible comparison.
Brian, before we do our favorite kill and least favorite kill, you want to go ahead and do our rankings?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'll go ahead and go first.
I'll mute my mic real quick.
Same.
I've got mine pulled up. I'll go 7 through 1. No, I'll go 1 through 7. Anyway, number 1 is Jurassic Park, the original. It's great. Number 2 for me is Jurassic World, the first Jurassic World movie. Sean, what are you talking about? That's a good movie. 3 for me is this one, Jurassic Park, Lost World. But nipping at its heels is the newest one, Jurassic World Rebirth. I think I'm biased because Scarlett Johansson. But number 5 is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Number 6 is Jurassic Park 3. And then a huge gap, and Jurassic World Dominion is last for me.
So that's funny. I even have it written in here, a huge gap, but I have a different movie, so that's funny. Number 1, Jurassic Park, obviously. Number 2, this one, The Lost World. Number 3, Jurassic World Rebirth. My David Cup trilogy there. Number 4, Jurassic World. And I love that movie, so the fact that it's number 4, it's going to get a 9 or above from me, just heads up. Pretty decent separation here before Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World Dominion, and like you said, a huge jump before the only one that I actually dislike, which is Fallen Kingdom.
I'll be honest, Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic Park 3, and Dominion, I don't really like any of those movies. They have some good qualities, but the top 4 on my list, I actually like them.
Yeah.
You guys are forgetting the best Jurassic Park thing ever, which is the Super Nintendo console game, baby. That shit was ballin'. Let's go. Anyway.
Fun fact about the original Jurassic Park, or the theme. I have a friend who, his first dance at his wedding was the Jurassic Park theme.
Nice.
It's a great song.
I whistle it all the time.
Yeah.
Like an old man. Old man whistling shit, just walking around.
All right, guys.
You're about to start whistling while you talk like Herbert from Family Guy.
What we're talking about, Chris?
All right, guys. Let's get into our favorite kill, least favorite kill in the rating. Dustin, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go. Favorite kill, Peter. He sucked. And I like the parent and child T-Rex running the 2-man on him. That was cool. Least favorite kill was Eddie. R.I.P. to a real one. He went out trying to save Ian, Sarah, and Nick. Honorable mention is the dog. Come on, man. Can't be.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Who directed this? Michael Vick? As far as my final thoughts in the rating,
Or Michael Myers.
it's quite a big step back from the first one, but it still has its charm. A few things that made me roll my eyes, but overall, it's enjoyable. I gave it a 6.5.
All right, I'll go next. Sorry, Brian, just giving you a heads up. Favorite kill, I'm going with the guy who got stomped to death by the T-Rex over and over. I just really liked that. It was unique, and I appreciated it. Least favorite kill, I wanted to say the dog, but I don't remember the name, so I apologize. But whoever that was in the cave who got the snake down the shirt and he just got too far up and got pathetic.
Yeah.
Like you gotta fight that snake off. You can't. You gonna go against a dinosaur? Give me a fucking break, you loser. And Mike, you were talking earlier, and you were talking about how it wasn't really like an adventure dinosaur movie, more like a war action or whatever. Yeah. To me, this reminded me more of just like the Halloween franchise. Love the first one, but the second one just doesn't have the same charm to me. It just doesn't have that same atmosphere, the same charm. I don't know. It's just not there for me. It's got some good parts. It's got some similarities, but I don't know. It just doesn't hit the same. Like I feel like a lot of the scenes just drug on and on in some spots, and I don't really think it did anything new. I gave the movie a 4.5. I'm sorry. I love you.
Dude.
I did not do a favorite and least favorite kill, honestly, because as much as there are kills in the movie, we don't see them, and so for whatever reason, when that happens, they don't register in my brain for whatever reason. If I don't see the on-screen kill, or it's not like the main point of the movie, I didn't say it was a good reason. I'm just telling you my reason. I will say everything I've already said, which was I like this movie. I think it's good. I can have a fun time with it. I think a lot of the dinosaur action is a step up when it comes to just like pure dino carnage, right? I mean, again, seeing more of the dinosaurs, Dustin touched on that where we don't have to wait fucking 34 minutes into the movie to get a dinosaur. We kind of start right out the gate. And so I like that aspect, and I liked that it did something different, but it's just missing the magic. It's missing the fantastical, this is something new, this is something different. It just doesn't have that same music, that charm. There's just something missing that makes it very different from the first one that I didn't enjoy as much. Now, it's good. I think it's fine, and it's certainly watchable. I was going to watch Jurassic Park 3 this weekend, although Dustin has now made me nervous because I don't hardly ever get weekends at home to watch movies, so I don't know if I should spend my time doing it, watching that one. But anyway, I went ahead and gave this movie a flat 6.
I can give you
I'm going to pick Jurassic. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to pick Jurassic Park 3 eventually. Just watch Jurassic World. You'll like it a lot.
Jurassic World is good. I was going to say I can also give you a long list of A24 movies to watch.
Yeah.
I'll be watching All in Texas, brother. Sorry.
Alexis.
All right. My favorite kill was Eddie being torn in half and eaten by the T-Rex. That kill was on screen. I loved it. Least favorite kill, the damn dog being eaten by the T-Rex. I put that it was uncalled for, you big bastard. I don't know why I wrote that, but I was in that mood, I guess. Final thoughts. Again, I love the franchise. I said it, minus Fallen Kingdom. I gave the original a perfect 10. And while this isn't the original, I am disagreement, and I think that it feels like it's the only one of the sequels that has that same feel. I'm sure that it has to do with Spielberg's direction. It's firmly second on my list, which I think we're going to get into here at the end, and we've already done that, so I'll cut that. But I'm going to deduct for the stupid gymnastics scene, and I gave this one a 9.25.
All right. That gives us a composite score of 6.5625. Look at that. Internet Movie Database, 6.6. Letterboxd, 3.1 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes, 56%. So they weren't feeling it that much, but it's okay.
Hey, man, how come we did your birthday pick and my regular pick back-to-back, and you gave my movie such a low score, man? What's the difference between Jurassic Park 2 and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, man? Come on, Brian. It's fucked up. Same movie.
A lot.
Essentially.
Actually, all of our listeners write in to settle ML92 and tell him what the difference in the Lost World.
One has dinosaurs. That's the difference.
Well, that's about it. Wow, big difference. Come on, Brian.
All right, guys. Happy birthday, Brian. You got any final thoughts on your pick?
No, appreciate you guys doing this. I told Nico in his text earlier, unless I die beforehand, I'm going to pick a Ghostbusters movie if there's a new one, or another one in this franchise until we get them done. From a birthday.
Here we go.
Next year, 2026, 10-year anniversary, Ghostbusters 2016. Let's answer the call.
Never even heard of that movie.
Oh, you should watch it.
Nah.
Is that the one with Melissa McCarthy?
It is.
I ain't watching that bitch. Anyway.
Well, know what I'm picking for my birthday then?
You guys are fucking dicks.
It's all right.
Are we shouting out our blood donors on this?
It's okay. I'm
Not
picking
yet,
Human
but
Centipede
yeah.
2 soon as well. So
Cool.
I'm
I
not
quit.
doing that movie.
I
I'm not
quit.
doing that movie.
Justin's quit.
That movie is smart. All right,
I'm not doing that movie either, buddy.
Let's shout out our blood donors before we get out of here. Mike Adelson and Sean Irwin, both legendary blood donors. Really appreciate you guys. Camper level reoccurring Nina, the Horror Movie Crew podcast, Michelle Mirza, Steve Schmidt, Matt from the UK, and Anthony Andrews. Camp counselor reoccurring Edwin Hernandez Gunn, Joe Swinford, Adrian Aiello, Brian Samick, Andrew Ferguson, Brooke Maley, Heather Superdoc, Jennifer Davison, Too Close to Home Pod, Dana Tucker, Cole McAlexander, Max K, Madison Arzola, and Casey Smith. Really appreciate y'all for your donations and tuning in. I was about to say tuning in, but we appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate all of our help from our blood donors to pay the bills. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Brian, speaking of nostalgia, you going to go see the new I Know You Did Last Summer movie?
I was a theater. No.
Hey,
So
Brian,
let me know
don't
how
worry.
that
I got
is.
you, buddy.
The face
Hey,
said it
Brian,
all.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you, Brian.
I'll go see it so that I can hate watch. Hate watch is still a watch.
It
That's
is.
true.
It's still supporting cinema.
So-
Appreciate y'all tuning in. Happy birthday, Brian. Sorry I didn't love your pick, but love you. We'll be back next week.
Happy birthday, Paw Paw. Jason X.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you next week. And in the meantime, take care of yourself.
Just want to remind everybody.